I am the voice of African identity. I speak a subject most people fear to say. Your identity, who you are. I told you, you are God. Today I'm telling you, the future of Africans had to begin with one truth. The truth is Africans must reclaim our identity. Our identity, it was taken away by other communities. Who told you that African names were not good? How do we end up there to be somebody change the names our ancestors are naming our children? Who bring that idea to us? And you accepted it. The whole community in Africa, the people who had a culture, a practical way, the naming names, it been changed. It changed completely, and they erased from our history. It made us, our mind, we forgot how our ancestors were naming their children and how they are practicing their spirituality belief. They bring new idea. We take that idea as the truth and as nothing else everyone can dare to ask question. But time has come to ask question. I'm sitting here in front of this camera to ask the question. You'd wonder, who told you your name are pagan? Who told you your name are not good? And why he did that? Why did he take that? And we agree. And think it's reality. One thing is always, when I bring this idea, let's reclaim our name, let's take our African names. There's many questions people ask. And most things always they keep bringing, they try to bring excuse because we got education from the colonizer. So, and also was good to be part to change our identity. And that is where we went wrong. We forgot that our ancestors also had knowledge, had education in different form. But when we got education from the colonial, and what did we do? What mistake we made? Education he gave us, instead to work for us, education was against us. It was against our identity. Everyone who be educated, he will feel better to have a colonial name. That is where the change it began. And that is the war with education and the traditional culture, it disappeared. It disappeared completely. And we look, even the education we have, the history we learn in the school, even now, it was written by a colonizer. And most of the times, he could have written the story which was favoring him and which was always protected him the way he behaved. Because to interfere other community culture, it was disrespectful. It was somebody welcome you to your house. You give him what to eat. You give him where to sleep. And then later, he take over. He try to change what you call your name. He change what you eat. He change everything. Even make you to feel in yourself, he was better than you. And that is the story we have. Sometimes we don't feel to talk about it, but that is the reality. Education for colonizer, so far we work for him. And that is why he interfered. He teaches how our ancestors, the way they were practicing the traditional pray to God, communicate with God. Even some, they could be healed themselves through their mind, their spirituality belief. He changed everything. So now when the religious came in, when they interfere in our culture, everything we know, everything our ancestors knows, it disappeared. We take both big religions, we make them as the reality of life. Only the way to live is just to believe those two. And they forgot how our ancestors lived before colonizing. They never be in that Muslim, they will never be Christians. But when they change, we feel that how life should be. A Muslim had to feel you can't live when you don't have the faith of Muslim, when you're African. It's the same, a Christian, you feel to be African, you have to be. In life, you have to have that identity. So those the identity was be given by colonizers. Those identity of Islam and Christianity, it wasn't there before, and the life was there before. And the question again I ask you, it's how we grow. And I can tell you why I claim my African names. Because the time had came to think about it, to question about it. What Africa we need is to be awakening, is to remember who we were, is to go back to history. History is already there. We have to have time to go back, to think about it, to see it, because it's in my mind, it's in your mind. That is why I went back. I said, why do I have a colonial name? Do I need to keep it or do I need to change it? I decided to change it. I decided to take back my African names. And this is going to be future of Africa. It's going to be part of changing our way the other community look at ourselves. We got to continue to remember who we were before. We take our identity. Reclaiming African identity. It must be done between each individual. This change has to come from you. You thinking about it, you have goals about it, you make action about to change it. And when I change it, I take to my children. My children, it's me who been given them those colonial names, because we thought that is the only way we should name them. But I sit with them, I spoken with them, and they agree with me. In this journey, start with me, with my family. Now I'm here talking to you, my fellow Rwandan, diasporas. I started to you, telling you, because the experience we live in diaspora, it's us diaspora who should take the first to change our name, to take away our identity. You know the condition, you know the life we live here with other communities. You know disrespect we face every day. And also ourselves, the inferiority complex our children face is because is lacking of true identity. True identity who we are. Is where you found an African child, is a Muslim, is a Christian, is whatever they've been given to us. That's why our young generation, they are losing their identity. The identity they take is what they see in movies, in social media, is everything there. And what the identity, when especially we look the history, in American history, what do you see the identity they show of Africans? That is what they made it to us. And that is why our children struggle to be part of that identity. Sometimes identity of crime, identity of not to be educated, identity of inferiority, identity to be, negative identity. They are put on us. And that change is going to start by reclaiming African identity. My brother, my sisters, the future of Africa is growing. But it's not growing only because we are majority or because they are young. No. Always we've been young. Always we'll be majority in Africa. Don't think this is new. Always we've been strong. But look what happened. We become slave and we become colonizer. That is what happened. We've been colonized. We made us slave because always we are young talent. And we are majority. The future, he had to come to change our identity. To know your mind is powerful. We have to reject the colonial mind. We have to reject the identity, the negative identity you've been put in our head, in our mind. Sometimes you feel poor, even though you are successful. I meet many people when I go back home who are successful, but they carry themselves always thinking they are poor. But what they have in their hands is just full of money. But because the society, because the community, because the colonizer have put that influence, we are poor, we are poor. We had to reject that. We can't be clean. My country, Rwanda, has shown that change. Has rejected those negative. They change identity of cleanness to show African we are clean like any other one. But for a long time they've been putting identity as how that we are. And we believe it. And most other cities in Africa believe it. That's how they can't clean their cities. Because they're still carrying the dirty identity. Rwanda to change, he changed from that. They are proud to they are sure their city is clean. It's not because they have money than any other African country. It's because they have any other special. They change their identity to make their city be clean. And every citizen now, he has a responsibility to clean his city. He believes their cleanness. And that's how Africa is going to change. By reclaiming African identity. I am Ndizeye. I am the voice of African identity. And this is to remind you who we are. To go back to take back our identity.